Hello and welcome to Securing Your Network Hub, your destination for the latest news on Fortinet through our Secure Network Hub site. My name is Ed Hannan, and joining me today is Ed Moltzen, the editor of Secure Network Hub. And in today's episode, Ed and I are going to talk about Fortinet's 2025 Insider Risk Report. Now, that Insider Risk Report that we talked about indicated that more than 4 in 10 organizations say they lost between $1 million and $10 million from their most recent insider incident in the last 18 months, or I guess their most significant insider incident in the last 18 months. What's causing the problem?
Yeah, that's a fascinating report that Fortinet has provided. Well, what's causing it really is, is insider risk, insider problems. Nothing malicious, just, employees or systems that are creating vulnerabilities through behavior. This is behavior related. Malice, and not with any ill intent, just the way things happen in an organization that may not be as disciplined as it needs to be.
Yeah, and one of the things I thought was really interesting in your article was where you talked about how most of the time data breaches aren't the result or not the result of malicious activity. It's more a sort of a slow buildup of things. So can you talk about this idea that it's like a buildup of vulnerabilities that really causes these breaches as opposed to a single incident?
I don't want to scare, or maybe I should scare some of the CEOs and solution providers out there, but it's everyday behavior, Ed. It's file sharing. It's AI experimentation. It's personal cloud uploads, accessing corporate data from a personal cell phone that's not really secured. Individually, these actions might look harmless, but over time, these legacy tools that, organizations have can't really keep up with it. They can't interpret intent or context or even see what's going on out there, even though it's happening sometimes every day, all day.
Yeah, it's pretty scary because as much of a pain in the neck as the firewall stuff is and the multi-factor authentications and things like that, you have to be vigilant with this stuff or else the bad guys get in. So that being said, I know you talked about this in the article, but what makes unified solutions such as the Fortinet Security Fabric the right data protection choice?
Well, it's really as simple as shutting down vulnerabilities and getting everything to not just work together, but talk to each other, right? So you've got, a network that stretches from maybe a campus or a headquarters building to branch offices to employees who work from home. And, you've got middleware that in some instances may be updated, and in other instances on the same network may not be updated. It's all over the place sometimes, and this is fragmentation. What something like Fortinet Security Fabric will do, it's a platform where you can just place everything on that platform, and have one source of information, on how everything is working, where the vulnerabilities are, why there are vulnerabilities, so that the people running a network really have an idea of where the weak links are in the chain and why those weak links exist in the first place. But the key is to have one unified platform like the Fortinet Security Fabric, where, even if things might not be, all uniform from one part of a network to another, at least everything is talking to each other and you can get one viewpoint in real time to see what's going on. So you can act before there's a problem.
Now you talk about all of that, and the sort of layman's response that I can think of to that would be, why wouldn't a simple dashboard be sufficient for tracking all this stuff?
Well, dashboards do a lot of great things, but unless you have not just the information, but the context, without context, you're really not able to act before something bad happens. One example might be, you've got an organization has a building in one location that's been shut down for whatever reason, all right? But yet now there's activity going on in that building. So, in that network, in a server room somewhere at that location. Unless you have context, something that might look innocent, okay, we'll get right past you, when in reality, you're missing a key piece of the puzzle, a key piece of the picture that will tell you, hey, there's a problem. You need context. Context, in this case, can be everything when you're trying to secure a network. And as we said, there's so much money involved, so much that can go wrong and hurt a business with even the slightest vulnerability.
Great stuff. The stuff's evolving, so I'm sure we'll be talking more about it in the coming weeks and months. But until then, we're out of time for today, but make sure you check out securenetworkhub.com. That's where you'll find the latest news about everything we talked about today, as well as Fortinet at large. And it's updated constantly from Ed and his team. Again, thanks to Ed for his time. Thanks to all of you for yours. My name's Ed Hannan, and you've been watching Securing Your Network Hub. We'll be back again real soon, but until then, take care and have a great day.